Have you ever thought about the invisible forces that shape pretty much every single conversation and interaction you have? Well, there's one that's huge, and it's what we're calling our cultural blueprint. It's like this unwritten instruction manual for how we see the world. And today, we're going to make that blueprint totally visible.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to ask, why does this blueprint even matter? Then we'll get really clear on what culture is, and just as importantly, what it isn't. After that, we'll see how it literally shapes our reality, figure out how to spot our own cultural lens, and wrap it all up with a practical guide for becoming way more culturally aware.
All right, let's dive right into that big why. Why is this blueprint so essential? Well, to put it simply, it's running in the background of everything we do, whether we realize it or not.
Come on, you've totally been there, right? That moment where you just feel like you and someone else are playing a completely different game with totally different rules? Well, that feeling, it isn't about who's right or who's wrong. It's the sound of two different cultural blueprints crashing into each other. It's kind of like two computers trying to run on completely different operating systems. It just doesn't compute.
Okay, so before we can really understand those different operating systems, we have to get our terms straight. And that means we need to pull apart two words that people mix up all the time: culture and ethnicity.
Now, this is a really simple but absolutely crucial difference. Ethnicity, that's all about your heritage, your ancestry, where your family comes from, like being Korean or Scottish. But culture? Oh, that is so much broader. Think of culture as the shared software, the values, the beliefs, the everyday behaviors that a whole group of people uses to navigate their world.
So, just to be crystal clear, culture is this living, breathing system of values that we learn. It is the very lens we use to interpret everything around us. And that lens, that's what we're going to be focusing on for the rest of our time here. So, if culture is the super powerful lens, how exactly does it color our reality? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how it shows up in our day-to-day lives. Culture isn't just one thing. It's more like this rich, complex tapestry. It's woven together from our family traditions, our spiritual beliefs, the language we speak, the schools we went to, and even the TV shows we watch. All of these different threads come together to create that unique cultural blueprint for each of us. And here's where the rubber really meets the road. Let's talk communication. In one culture, making direct eye contact is a sign of respect. In another, it's a challenge. What about family? Is the big decision all about me, or is it about we, the whole family? Even something as fundamental as our beliefs about health and sickness is totally shaped by culture. This blueprint is literally everywhere.
Okay, seeing how culture works out there is one thing, but honestly, the most powerful and maybe the hardest step is turning that focus back on ourselves. It's time to take a good, hard look at the lens we're personally looking through. I want you to just pause on this for a second, because this is a total game changer. Everything you think of as normal or common sense or just the way things are, that's simply a product of your cultural blueprint. It's not a universal truth. It's just your version of reality. And realizing that, well, it changes everything. Because here's the danger. When we don't recognize our own lens, we fall right into the trap of unseen bias. We start thinking our way is the right way or the better way, and that instantly puts up walls, it kills trust, and it makes real, genuine connection practically impossible. So, I'm going to ask you directly, what are the default settings on your blueprint? What are the assumptions about respect or family or communication that you carry around without even thinking about it? And look, this isn't about feeling guilty, it's just about being aware. So now that we have this awareness, what do we do with it? We turn it into action. And in this final section, we're going to walk through a really practical toolkit for building better, more sensitive connections with people. All right, here it is, a simple but incredibly powerful 6-step guide. It all starts with curiosity. You have to ask. Then it moves to acceptance, respect. Then it becomes action. You adapt, you communicate, and you advocate. But look at number 5. Be self-aware. That brings us right back to the beginning. See? True sensitivity is this constant loop of action and reflection.
And this right here, this is the core message. Self-awareness isn't just some passive idea. It is an active skill. It's how you catch those automatic assumptions in the moment and choose to go down a better path. It's really the engine that drives all of this.
So, I'm going to leave you with this. Now that you know a little bit more about your own cultural blueprint, What's one conversation, just one, that you can have differently, starting today? Thanks for joining me.